Can somebody tell me anything Harris Biden have done right? Anything they've done that's actually helped the country? Or their party, for that matter. Or their media, for that matter. CNBC, the Dow tumbles 1,000 points. S&P 500 posts worst day since 2022 in global market sell-off. In 2022, Harris and Biden were in charge. The stocks fell sharply, posting the worst day in nearly 2 years. As worries over the health of the U.S. economy sparked a global market sell-off, the Dow dropped 1,033.99 points, 2.6%. The NASDAQ, and why does this matter to you? We'll get to that. The NASDAQ composite lost 3.43% and closed at, number doesn't matter. S&P 500 slid 3%, all in one day. Now keep in mind, that's on top of Friday where they slid too. Fears of a U.S. recession were the main culprit for the global market meltdown after Friday's disappointing July jobs reports. Investors are also concerned the Federal Reserve is behind in cutting interest rates to bolster an economic slowdown. Here's the problem. Did the Republicans spend too much? You bet they did. But the Democrats spent far more, and they did it as the economy was coming out of the pandemic and growing. Jobs were being created. And he dumped this multi-trillion-dollar debt, which they call the Inflation Reduction Act, because they lie. Everything is the opposite of what they say, which was a massive redistribution of wealth to extremist left-wing groups, corporations pushing climate change, and all the rest. It's done nothing substantively for our economy. And now we have all this paper money, if you will, following goods and services. And so what happens is stagflation. I don't care how many of these fools talk about recession. It's stagflation. The economy is beginning to show cracks, but it has been. For the average person, it's been cracking for years now. Since Biden stepped in and Harris stepped in, it's no joke. You can hear people talking about it all the time. I go to the grocery store. Every now and then, not often anymore, I go to fast food restaurant. I hear what people are saying. They can't believe it. You can't blame corporate profits. Corporate profits are way off, way off. And corporations made profits during the Trump administration, too. We never saw anything like this during the Trump administration. Look, Marxist/socialist policies do not work. They do not work. Killing the golden goose means there's no golden eggs. When you wring its neck through taxes and regulations, it doesn't produce for the economy. And constantly talking down the successful people, constantly talking down the market system, constantly attacking capitalism by word and by deed, this is what you get. This is what you get. And it affects, they make it like, oh, if we only tax the rich. Where do you think the rich put their money, for God's sakes? You think there's a fund that only the rich can put their money in and therefore the rest of us are unaffected or affected? It doesn't work that way. And rather than pushing for more success, for more people, no. They push for equity. You heard Mumbles. Mumbles. That's right. That's her new name. Mumbles pushing for equity. Equity means nobody can be too successful. We all have to end in the same place. That's what she said. She's such an idiot. That would be Kamala Harris. Anyway, then we have this. So the economy is a big concern. Tell me, what are Kamala Harris's proposals for the economy? I challenge any host on any of these phony TV shows on MSNBC or CNN to call in. What are Kamala Harris's proposals for creating jobs? What are her proposals for getting inflation under control? What are her proposals for growing the economy? What are they? What are they? Go on her website. Show me where they are. They don't exist. She has no proposals for the economy except to choke it to death. Her proposal is what I've been calling the pillow proposal. Take it and smother it. She has no idea, but she's an ideologue. So that's what they fall back on, like Bernie Sanders or AOC or Tlaib. Look, it's bad enough that they're in Congress. We cannot tolerate one of these radical, vapid kooks in the office of the presidency. Nobody can. Black, white, brown, yellow, albino, nobody can. Nobody. So this is the economy. Now, what about the border? The border's a disaster. They've destroyed the economy and they've destroyed the border. They can play game, I'm not the border czar. No, but you are the vice president. Of course you were the border czar, but you are the vice president, right? Right, Kamala? Surprise, surprise, New York Post. Team Biden has halted a program that flies migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua. Well, that's how Bernie Sanders pronounces it. He knows his commies. And Venezuela into the United States if the Department of Homeland Security uncovered, ready? Massive fraud by the program's applicants. Say what? Gee, did anyone really think there wouldn't be fraud? This is a program, mind you, that never got congressional authorization and violates laws already on the books, writes the Post. Yet despite the patently obvious likelihood of fraud, Biden and border czar Kamala Harris went ahead with it anyway, flying in nearly 500,000 people since October 2022. And remember, they did it secretly. Now, a review by DHS's Citizenship and Immigration Service, CIS, found that possibly tens of thousands of applicants from migrants' sponsors, quote-unquote, contained fraudulent information, the same addresses, for example, used by many of them, fake Social Security numbers and zip codes, and even the same verbatim answers to questions. You know one of the great horror stories that's not reported on? Illegal aliens, legal and illegal, are coming into the country, and they're tapping into the Social Security system. They're tapping into fake Social Security cards. They're bankrupting the Social Security system. What did he say? Oh, it's true. Hello, migrants, writes the Post, have risked their lives making treacherous journeys through dangerous terrain and dealing with the most ruthless criminals to get here. Resorting to fraud is a no-brainer. Heck, even their asylum claims have been proven to be bogus. When asked, migrants openly admit they want to relocate to America not because they've been persecuted or their lives are in danger back home, as required by asylum, but for better economic opportunities. Now that CIS has documented fraud and on a massive scale, the program has been frozen. Great. Is anyone going to ask Kamala about this? Anybody? Waste of time to ask Joe, even if you could get a question to him. What? But Harris just keeps ducking because the media allow her to get away with this. Are Biden, Harris, and company really that desperate to flood in as many people as fast as possible, allowing them to cut the line, overwhelm cities, and flout Congress? If Team Biden thinks these people really deserve to be here, let them persuade lawmakers to create a legal pathway. And good luck with that. Their refusal to do that is just one more reason they need to be replaced. So they've destroyed the economy, and now it's really going to... it takes a little while for the decisions, the really horrendous decisions that are made by the Marxist socialists, to work their way through the economy, because the American economy is massive, it's diverse, it's got infinite tributaries. But finally it starts to kick in, and it's kicking in now. Inflation is not going to come down. It's going to go worse. Jobless claims are going to go up. You can hear today with the stock market. The reason it's important that the stock market not crash is because if the stock market crashes, that means all these larger businesses have to fire tons of people, and their businesses are going to contract. Firing tons of people, businesses contracting, means the American economy is going to contract, people are going to lose their jobs, and inflation will continue to go up. That's what's happening. You can see it at the grocery store. You can see it at the gas pump. You can see it when you're trying to get now apartments to rent. You're trying to purchase a home. You can see it everywhere. The price is just crazy. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to Chick-fil-A before I came here. I wanted to check it out because I wanted Chick-fil-A sandwich, Mr. Producer. Just the sandwich. I didn't get the fries. And a large Diet Coke. Almost $9. For just the sandwich and I don't blame them. You know, they're a pass-through. That's what they are. What happened? What happened is the Biden-Harris administration, the Democrat Party, and their Marxist socialist agenda. What happens is products and services become less available. Prices go up, and the value of your money goes down. That's what you're facing. That's what's happening. All this talk, well, the Fed was too slow, the Fed needs to be... I understand these monetarists. I'm not necessarily opposed to them. But on the fiscal side, the Congress side, it's a disaster. And the Democrats don't intend to do a damn thing about it. Why? They don't care if the economy crashes. What happens if an economy crashes? All hell breaks loose. What happens when all hell breaks loose? More and more power to the central government. What happened during the pandemic? You lost many of your liberties. Some of them you still haven't gotten back. And they'll throw out things like the 6-foot rule. There was no science behind the 6-foot rule. Wear the paper masks. There was no science behind the paper masks. It didn't matter. Where there was science, like little kids should be able to go to school because they're the least endangered group, and yet they can build immunities to it. What do? They shut down the schools. This isn't science. This is quackery. Quackery. Marxism and socialism is quackery. The problem is it creates impoverishment, kills a lot of people. But it's quackery. And that's why Kamala Harris cackles, Mr. Producer. Quack, quack.